On a quiet Friday night, in a small town where everybody knew everybody, the manager of the local bank locked the front doors, just like he did every single night. And then he vanished. No struggle, no missing money, no note left behind. Just an empty house, a coffee cup, still half full, sitting on the counter, and an audit scheduled to begin that Monday morning that he would never show up for. For 40 years, the town thought they knew exactly what happened to him. They were wrong. Let's go back to the late 1970s. Picture a small town, the kind where there's one main street, one diner, and one bank. The kind of place where the bank manager doesn't just know your account number. He knows your kids' names, your birthday, and whether you take your coffee with sugar. That was him. Reliable. Friendly. The guy everyone trusted without a second thought. And in a town like that, trust isn't just a nice idea. It's the entire system. Nobody double-checks the books. Nobody asks questions. Why would they? He'd been there for years. Then, one ordinary week, something changed. The state scheduled a routine audit of the bank. Nothing unusual, really. Banks get audited. It happens. But this was the first real audit that Branch had seen in a long, long time. It was set to begin Monday morning. He never made it to Monday. When the bank didn't open that morning, people noticed fast. In a town like this, a locked door at 9 a.m. is news. Police were called. They went to his house expecting something. Maybe he'd packed a bag. Maybe he'd left in a hurry. But nothing was missing. His clothes were still hanging in the closet. His car sat untouched in the driveway. There was no sign he'd planned to go anywhere at all. It was like he'd simply stepped outside and never came back. Investigators braced themselves for the obvious explanation. Surely, when they opened the books, they'd find a hole. Money skimmed off the top. A motive. They found nothing. Every single dollar was exactly where it should be. And that's when the real question started keeping people up at night. If nothing was stolen, why did he run? Over the following months, the theories multiplied. Maybe something happened to him. Maybe he owed someone money. Maybe there was a secret life nobody knew about. Another town, another family, another name. Rumors spread the way they always do in small towns. Quietly, then all at once. Someone claimed to have seen him 3 states away. Someone else swore he'd had a gambling problem no one ever proved. A few people even whispered about things they couldn't explain at all. None of it ever led anywhere. The case went cold. Years passed. Then decades. Eventually, the story stopped being an open investigation and became something else entirely. A local legend. The man who vanished into thin air and took the truth with him. 40 years later, almost to the day, something arrived that no one expected. An anonymous donation showed up at a local community fund, tied, of all things, to restoring the very same building that old bank once stood in. At first, it just looked like generosity, a nice gesture from someone who cared about the town's history. But then someone did the math. An elderly former auditor, one of the only people left who remembered the original numbers, sat down and compared the donation to the amount that had quietly been suspected missing all those decades ago. The amount that was never actually proven to be stolen. The figures lined up almost perfectly. Even more strange, there was a small note attached. No name, no signature, just a handful of words referencing interest owed. As if someone, somewhere, had been keeping their own private ledger for 40 years. There was no return address, no way to trace where it came from. But there was one detail nobody could ignore. It arrived on the exact anniversary of the night he disappeared. Nobody ever proved this man did anything wrong. No court ever convicted him. No investigation ever closed with an answer. And yet, 40 years later, something came back that looked a lot like an apology. Maybe that's the real lesson here. The law doesn't always catch up with people. Sometimes nobody does. But guilt, if it's real, doesn't need a courtroom to keep score. It keeps its own quiet accounting, long after everyone else has stopped looking. Some debts don't get settled by punishment. They get settled by conscience, on nobody's timeline but its own. So, was it him, finally making things right? Was it someone protecting him, finishing what he couldn't? Or was it something else entirely? A coincidence? A stranger? A story with no real ending at all? The town never found out. And now, neither will we. If stories like this keep you up at night wondering what really happened, you're exactly who this channel is for. Every week, we dig up another true, unsolved mystery, the ones history almost forgot. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.